The writer Gertrude Stein once wrote of Oakland, California, "There is no there there." I think she was expressing a sense of disconnectedness with the city, her hometown. Well, I just got back from 2 weeks in Seoul, South Korea, and I found that there is there everywhere. I'm going to discuss the challenges and opportunities of doing street and urban photography in a monster-sized megacity. The metropolitan area of Seoul has a population of 26 million people. Doing photography in Seoul, in many ways, is going to be similar to other large megacities around the world, like Tokyo, Mexico City, or Sao Paulo. So let's get into it. The first challenge, to put it rather simply, is that there are people and things everywhere, in every space, all the time. People, buildings, cars, signs, markets, mountains, murals, mascots, you name it, Seoul has it. In that sense, it's a photographer's dream. But how do you make sense of all the clutter? This was indeed a huge challenge and an opportunity. Everywhere I went, there were potentially interesting subjects to photograph, but often they were obscured by something else. Wide angles weren't really a solution, except to maybe capture the chaos from a distance. Close-ups using a longer lens or zoom were a better bet, because this allowed me to isolate subjects of interest. But I still had relatively low success, because other people or things often got in my way. I had to use the spray and pray method a lot, but this too yielded mixed results. There's really no easy solution to the problem. You just have to be patient and persistent and take a lot of photos. You should mix your wide-angle shots with close-up portraits of people, buildings, signs, whatever holds your interest. And taking an unusually large number of photos, I think, is a good idea in a place like Seoul, because your success rate is probably going to be lower than it would be in less cluttered places. So if you take a lot of photos, you just have a better chance of getting some decent shots in the end. A different way to approach this problem would be to identify beforehand a subject or project that interests you and just focus on that. For example, in some cities, I enjoy taking pictures of public transport, especially when things like buses are painted and colorful. Seoul has some humorous signs, and whenever possible, I took some photos of those. I'll show you some of those later. Now, I love the city, but the light in Seoul was not particularly pretty. Most days were just kind of gloomy or hazy. And I think this is often true in other megacities, where pollution, tall buildings, and clouds often conspire against light reaching the ground. But what I love about photography is how it forces you to adapt to real-life conditions and circumstances. Painting, drawing, and sculpture, for example, these don't have this challenge because you can create from scratch. But with photography, at least the non-AI kind, something actually has to happen before you can photograph it. So to overcome the problem of mediocre light, you can try and adapt in 3 ways. First, where possible, you can turn up the contrast in post-processing. I admit though that this has limitations. Usually you can't make a really flat, low-contrast shot into a high-contrast one without making it look a bit weird or artificial. The second piece of advice is to convert your shot into black and white, or to shoot black and white in the first place. This way you can emphasize shapes, textures, and composition rather than light or color. In some cases, I like the simple, more journalistic look of black and white street and urban photography. The third way to overcome the problem of poor light is to simply shoot at blue hour or at night. Now the sky doesn't matter so much anymore. You can focus on capturing the artificial light of the city, which itself can tell interesting and colorful stories. This is the challenge of megacities. They're big, and they sprawl. How the heck am I supposed to photograph all of this? Well, the good news is, I don't have to. I can go wherever the hell I want. and so can you. Our job, if you can call it that, isn't to capture every single neighborhood, it's just to capture the main idea or essence of the place. In my earlier years, I'd want to go out and photograph 36 different neighborhoods before going to bed. The family motto was sightsee till you puke. Now I still enjoy going out and walking around all day, but I now realize it's counterproductive to my own health and safety to see everything as if we were checking off boxes on a list. We've talked a bit about the challenges of doing photography in Seoul. Now let's talk about the advantages and opportunities. The first is that Seoul is safe, and as a result, it's a fantastic city for night photography. People are out, the neon signs are lit, and there's lots of ambient light. It also rains a lot, which means lots of wet streets, reflections, and umbrellas, all very photogenic. And if you get tired of walking around after a long day out, you can always stop by for some creepy chicken, sexy food, or,
Whoa!
Koreans absolutely love taking pictures of themselves, their families, and their friends. They'll even wait in long queues for the chance to take selfies in front of scenic overlooks. After a while, I realized I wouldn't be able to photograph any building or scenic spot without people in my photos. So I decided to change tactics. I started enjoying it. I took pictures of Koreans taking pictures of themselves, pictures of Koreans having their picture taken by others, pictures of Koreans taking pictures of someone else, and even pictures of people taking pictures of people having their picture taken. What's especially great about all of this is that Koreans are so used to cameras, they never seemed to mind when I was in the vicinity taking pictures of them. I usually did this discreetly or would politely ask, and I never once had a single problem. Remember when I said that it was impossible to get a grip on Seoul because of its immense size? Well, the upside of this is that there are dozens, perhaps hundreds of neighborhoods to explore, each with its own vibe. They even have their own topography. Some areas sit right down by the river, whereas other neighborhoods climb up hills, and there are some with great hiking trails where you can climb up for fantastic 360-degree views, day or night. There are a lot of cities where I think to myself, if I stayed here for a long time, maybe I'd get bored of doing photography, because eventually it'd get repetitive and I'd run out of subjects. Seoul was most definitely not one of those cities. Even though I'm not a big fan of kimchi, I can't wait to get back to Seoul. So if you're contemplating a trip to Asia or want to visit any monster-sized city sometime soon, I strongly urge you to do it and to keep these thoughts in mind. So if you enjoyed the video, please do hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. So I'll leave you with some of my favorite photos from the trip. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.